So we're gonna start, right? I'm gonna start. We're gonna have a little lesson today. So I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you for joining me today. My heart is so like happy right now because I get to see everyone's faces, even though we're in this pandemic and we can't really, sit down and like have full conversation face to face. But I'm happy that you guys were able to join me in this moment. I'm super grateful because I've been praying for each and every one of you guys, since y'all my family, especially you guys. I've always told you guys you have a special place in my heart, each and every one of you. And I'm so excited. So I just wanted to start this group because, one, with all the craziness going around, I miss y'all and I just want to see y'all beautiful faces. So I'm going to be doing this like little teens journal type thing every Wednesday. So I know we all have our busy lives. Well, some of you guys, because I know we're all stuck at home. So what kind of lives can we really have, right? No, I'm just kidding. But this is just a little way to like kind of like unwind and just sit down and like just talk to other people and just have a moment and just give thanks for everything that we have, experienced, and just give you guys a little hope and encouragement during this time, and just chat with you and see how everyone's doing. Because, that's what we're here for. That's what family's for, and that's what friends are for. So I just wanted to come and do this little group, and I'm so happy that you guys could join me today. So we're gonna start on the little intro or whatever. So today's little lesson thing is understanding my purpose. So that's what we're gonna learn today, okay? Understanding my purpose. Do you guys know what my purpose is? Not my specifically, but what purpose means. Anyone? You guys can answer. I want you guys to participate. Oh my God, Dave. Okay, it's okay. We'll go into that. So for the intro, so what are like, we're gonna talk about like a little bit of how to build a cake, okay? This is just like an analogy, I guess you can say, okay? So when we're building a cake, what are the ingredients that we need to make a cake? Can anyone name some?
Chocolate.
Go ahead. Okay, chocolate. You want to make a chocolate cake? We need chocolate.
Eggs.
All right. Eggs. So what else do we need?
Milk.
Eggs.
Okay, I heard eggs.
Milk.
Emily,
Flour.
Yes, milk, flour. What's some other ingredients? Eliza, add one.
Yeah, oil.
Oil.
I don't know, flour.
Love.
Love, yes, you need love. Like my mama always says, the food is good because it's made with love. But what are the other ingredients that we need to make a cake?
What goes in a cake? What goes in cake?
So we put flour. We could put vanilla extract in
Put
it.
Sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, CAKE.
Yes. We're not building one of those, already mixed in type joints. We're building an actual cake from scratch with the flour. Yeah. So
salt,
whipped cream,
a little bit of salt. Yeah.
Whipped cream.
We need whipped cream for the finishing touches, but we also need utensils, right? Like a big bowl where we can mix everything. We need a whisk to kind of, yeah. So those are basically the ingredients that we need to build a cake, right? So each of these ingredients has their own purpose. Individually and together, they make something beautiful. Like for instance, for eggs, that's its own individual ingredient. You can make an omelet with those eggs. You can make, something else with those eggs. I don't know. You can make a lot of things with those eggs. And with milk as well, you eat cereal with milk. You can put milk in arroz con leches. You can put milk on literally anything, right? not literally anything, but you know my point. So
Everything.
just like these ingredients has their own purpose to make a cake, that's how we are as well. That's how our lives are. So we are all designed like this. You know, we're all designed individually, differently, uniquely to make something beautiful, right? Do you guys believe that you guys are all,
Yes.
yeah. So so some of us are the flour, some of us can be the sugar, some of us can be the salt, some of us can be the vanilla extract, but all together we make a very delicious cake, you know? So in a lot of ways that's like, you know, with Christianity, like we are all part of, you know, the Christianity, and we all bring our own different uniquely beautiful things. So that's how we are built. Now now that we are all designed like this, like everything else in the world, we were made for a purpose. So the purpose for why we need those ingredients to make a cake is because we're going to eventually make a beautiful, delicious cake that we can eat and share with our loved ones, right? So just like that, we have been made for a purpose. So now I want to read Jeremiah 1:5, which says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." So in this verse, you could probably ask yourself, so what is my purpose? You know, what is my purpose? So now we know the purpose of a cake. We know the purpose of us as beings in the world or in Christianity, but what is my purpose? What is your purpose? Your individual purpose. Whether you grew up a Christian or not, God created you with a purpose. You know, there was, like, from that verse, it's literally, you know, written in here that before you were in the womb, he knew you. He knew your name. He knew that Jackie was going to be curly hair. He knew that he knew that Sophia was going to have beautiful eyes. He knew that Eliza's going to need glasses later on. Like, he knew everything. He knew everything about us. He knew us before our parents even knew us. So he made you uniquely beautiful with your own talents and skills. For instance, like, you know, some of us can be better at drawing than others. Some of us can be better writing than others. Some of us are better singers than others. Some of us are gifted with different skills and talents. So how can we find our own purpose? So imagine that bowl of ingredients that we were talking about, that cake. Imagine that bowl representing ourselves, our life, our purpose. How do we know what to put in it? So how do we know that we need eggs and all these ingredients in that cake, for that cake? Anyone? What is usually in, like,
A recipe.
yes, a recipe. So that recipe represents the word of God. That recipe is the word. Now, who created the word? Who created that recipe? Well, someone must have created it, right? So God is the one who created that recipe. God is the one who created that word for us to follow, for us to believe in. So what if we put the wrong ingredient in our cake? What if we, for instance, put a little bit of vinegar or a little bit of, you know, something else that doesn't belong in there? It's gonna taste disgusting, right? You're not gonna want to eat that. You're not gonna want to feed that to no one. Like, no one's gonna want to eat pickled cake. So in a lot of ways, we have to be careful what we put inside our bowl of mixture, right? So the first point is we have to have faith in God, okay? Only our faith and our actions can activate the promises that God has for us. You know, when we walk in faith, we can find our purpose in life. I know most of you guys are young and we're still finding out what our purpose is, but that's the whole point of being, a young person, is that we make mistakes, but we get back up and we learn from them, and we don't do the same things over and over again, right? So number one is having faith in God. Abraham, everybody know who Abraham was in the Bible? Kind of ish. I'll give you a little recap. So Abraham we call him Father Abraham, but he was a man of great faith. In the Bible, he was all about having faith in God. He never got to see God physically, but he heard his voice and he believed in it. He didn't have any buts or anything. Like, he was 100%, like, he believed in every single thing that God would tell him. And that is why he ended up having a huge generation, and that's why he's called the Father Abraham. So just like this man, he had a lot of faith. He didn't question anything. He didn't question God at all, and he just believed in him so much. And that's why God ended up completing his purpose and showing him what the nations were to come after Abraham. God showed him everything that was going to come through the side of Abraham. So number two is taking care of what you hear and what you see. So we cannot just put in our little cake mixture things that, negative thoughts or negative things that people say to us. We cannot allow the negativity of others to fill into that, cake, and put all those bad ingredients that we don't want in our cake, because then our cake isn't going to be made with a purpose. It's going to be made with someone else's purpose to ruin it. So especially with social media, and especially with everything that's going on nowadays, it's easy to hear a lot of negative things that people are saying, to be, making you feel scared, making you feel like, this is never going to end. And, filling your soul up with all that negativity is just going to, make your faith even weaker. So we have to be careful what we hear. We can't just believe everything that people tell us. We can't believe everything that social media tells us, especially in this crazy time. We have to believe in God, and we have to believe that we will make it out alive. We need to have faith that if this virus touches our family, that they're gonna be healed in the name of Jesus. So, and if if you're sick, you have to believe, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna get better. I know it, because that's what having faith is. So number three is act on your purpose. So one is having purpose, two is taking care of what you hear, and three is acting on that purpose. So how do we act on that purpose? How did God design you to be? You need to think about these things. Reflect on that. What are your passions? What are your interests? What are skills that God has for you? What are the good skills that you know? Some are, like I said earlier, some are better at writing than others. Some are better at singing than others. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a skill out there that you have. So especially us as young people that are trying to, figure out our next steps in our lives, we have to think about, what are we good at? What are those things that, we can implement in our lives, and, create, our purpose, and how can that benefit in our purpose and what God has planned for us, So it's important that I know that some of you guys are almost graduating high school or did graduate this year or are in college, this is a strict time for us because, we're kind of trying to figure out, okay, this is the rest of our lives. What are we going to do? Like, what is my next plan? And that's a lot of times very stressful. I know it's been stressful for me personally, but knowing that I have family support, knowing that I have God's support, knowing that I can use those same skills that I have into what I want to do in life, it gives me peace in my heart. And that's all that, your purpose should be, is peace. You should have peace within that purpose. You shouldn't have to worry about the things that you're putting into your cake and if it's going to taste bad, because you know that whatever you're putting in it is good and not bad. So the conclusion is, we are all different. We are all in different walks of life. Our cake is still being made. So don't just think that, okay, your cake is going to be made from, tomorrow to today, or, tomorrow to next week, or it's going to be made in 1 month or whatever. No, our cake is not being done yet. Your cake is still being made. You still have to put those ingredients in your cake. How do you figure that out? Well, having faith in God, trusting in him, trusting that, he will give you those tools. You have to take care of the things that you hear, the things that you see. You have to act on it. You have to find resources to help you get to where you're meant to be. So I want to just read Ephesians 4:11, just to close. It says, God chose you to be his people. So I urge you now to live the life to which God called you. So life is best lived on purpose. And purpose, like everything else in the universe, begins with God. Whether you realize it or not, God has a plan for your life, a divine calling, a direction in which he is leading you. When you welcome God into your heart and establish a genuine relationship with him, he will begin in time to make his purpose known. Sometimes God's intentions will be clear, and sometimes it will not. God's plan will seem uncertain at best, but even in those difficult times when you are unsure which way to turn, you must never lose sight of these overriding facts. God created you for a reason. He has important works for you to do, and he is waiting patiently for you to do it. So I hope that this just gives you a little bit of encouragement for the day. Don't give up. I know it could be stressful to be home 24/7, not being able to do whatever you want, and you're bored at home, making TikToks or whatever. But I just wanted to remind you guys that, you guys have a purpose. So don't give up, don't give up on school. Don't give up on work. Don't give up on relationships. Don't give up on friendships, because all of that is the purpose. All of that God is using for a bigger purpose. And just always remember that there is something out there that is much greater than what you think right now. So I love you guys, and thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something today.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, just give you guys a little bit of encouragement and just